Tuesday. Welcome to the beginning of a trading week. Quite a day we had yesterday. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about what I think is coming up next. Before we get into that, be sure to let me know if you are here, if you're live with me, and if you can hear me okay, see the screen okay. Good morning, Claire. Morning, Ryan. Hello, Ajaz. I hope that's how I say your name. Good to see you all, Sharon. Morning. Awesome. Good to see you all. I hope you all had a good day yesterday. We did have some really tricky price action. Hey, Theo. Hey, Nick, James, Kevin. Can see all of the Discord tribe coming in. This is awesome. These two areas that I have marked out on the chart are areas that we marked for a retrace from last week. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about where price is right now and if I actually do think it's going to bounce here or what is next for Bitcoin. Before I do that, if you are brand new to this channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Turn the bell button to all so you can be notified every time I update a new video. The other thing too is I have noticed that the YouTube alerts tend to go out really quite late after I've uploaded videos or after I've gone live. So if you want to get access to what we're doing like in the moment across all the social media, the best place to be is in the Discord. There is a free section that you can join that will alert you whenever I post on any of my social media. So jump in there. If you're wanting to learn the complete trade by design method, we do that in first class. We're getting towards the point where it's last chance to enter because it will get too late in the month if you leave it too much longer. So links for everything, free section, education section, it's all in the description of this video. Discord tribe in the house, we need answers. That's what we're going to try and get to today, Eleanor. So let's do this. We're gonna start zooming out because that's the best place to start. Have a look at what's going on and try to build our confluences as we move down in time frames. So starting with the 4 hour, let's just talk about what we've had been watching all last week, which of course was the W formation. Now the W formation did break out. The top of the W, let me just unlock this. The top of the W was here originally, and we did break out, but we failed the 200 EMA. Now, because we are overall macro bearish, that was a good position to short. Also, it's a trade setup in the whole market maker method. So that was where shorts were opened for most of us. However, we were watching some key levels for a bounce. The first level was here at around the 20,300, which we broke yesterday. I'm going to talk about why we broke that when we go down a time frame. But the next level that we're looking at now was between 19,900-ish and 19,745. This current red candle has wicked right into that zone. So what are we waiting for now? Do we think we're going to actually bounce here, or is there more downside to come? I'll tell you what I don't like about the current price action on this, what could be a retrace. I don't like how, if we really zoom in and take a look at this entire retracement period, let me make this obvious for you. Every time the bulls tried to fight back in this zone, it was extremely weak. They literally had no chance all the way down here. That's not really what I like to see for a retrace. That doesn't really tell me that it's just a little bit of profit taking and, you know, that we're going to bounce anywhere soon. So on a higher time frame, this W retracement is not looking good to me. That's number one. Now, is there anything else I want to say about the 4 hour W? Let me just have a look down here. Not really. So we do have what is potentially a failed W formation on a higher time frame. we had the wick under the 200 EMA, that's sign number 1, and we had a very weak buyback right up until right now, sign number 2. Now let's go and have a look at, where is the Discord link? As last time I got approached by someone that's done a fake profile on you on Insta. Yeah, lucky I knew you wouldn't be messaging me. Well done, Michael. Yeah, on that note, there are billions of scam accounts out there pretending to be me. They do it to all, crypto influencers, I guess, but it's not me. I'll never ask you for money. You should know that. All of the links to my stuff are in the description of my YouTube videos. Those are the links to trust. If anyone ever messages you pretending to be me or Trade Travel Chill, it's not us. Just know that and ignore it. Don't even report it to me because there's nothing I can do. Like, I've reported hundreds of them and these social media platforms don't do anything. So just be smart enough to know that it's a scam and stay away. Now, let's talk about the 1 hour time frame, because this was the one that I think was the perfect one during the week. So this whole move up here, I'm not going to go into full detail, but this is called a 33 trade. If you're in the Discord, you know exactly what this is. To give you a very brief explanation, it is when we have 3 rises that don't retrace, but they just move sideways. This is an imperfect 33 trade to me because the first rise did have a retrace, but after that, all we did was go sideways. And in the third rise, you have 3 hits to the high. So this was the one here, and that third hit to the high in level 3 is what fans out the EMAs, and then what follows that is an extended consolidation period, which is this here. So something a bit longer than normal, which is what happened right here, obviously going into a weekend. The completion of a 33 trade is 2 things. The target becomes the 50 EMA, and if we break through that, the 200 EMA. We got to both of those. So we got to the 200 EMA level. What happens after that is a whole new setup. So you can't really count it as a normal weekly cycle. You have to start fresh. It's either going to bounce off the 200 EMA and then we start 3 level rises, or it's going to fail the 200 EMA and we start 3 level drops. That's where we are right now. So it looks like we've had our potential 1 drop here, maybe 2. We'll look at the volume on that in a second. So that's number 1, which is quite scary because it could mean that there is more drops to come if that continues to play out. The other thing too is if you are going just from the peak formation high, which is where we like to start a new week, we do have an M formation here. Then we have an M retest here. We have drop 1 into a board meeting here and drop 2, which is currently playing out. Again, leading us to believe that we're probably, well, I shouldn't say probably, but there's a chance that we may break this area of interest and head lower. The other thing too is with this particular area of interest, it's to me not that strong because we do have candles in here. You know what? I'm actually going to move it down to somewhere that I feel is a little bit stronger, which is here. So that puts us between 19,750 to 19,660-ish kind of area. And the reason I marked that out is because this is the last 1 hour market maker candle where price has not yet returned to. We've got that wick there, but other than that, we have not come back here just yet. If we return to that level and don't bounce, then what have we got left? All of this has been recovered. This candle here has not yet been recovered. So we'll mark this one out here. And that's putting us between 19.3 to 19,150. If we zoom out on that, that will still be a valid W formation on the higher time frame, because in order for it to be invalid, personally for me, it has to break this level here, so the second peak. The actual rule is it has to break below the absolute low. But at the end of the day, if it breaks my second peak, I'm out. Like, I'm not looking for W retest anymore, because the market structure has changed. So last chance is that 18,920 area, but I'm not looking for retests that far down, because it means we've missed this whole short here. So the other thing too to talk about is the bearish and the bullish moon phase, because we have the bullish moon phase coming up on the 14th of July. That's in 2 days' time. It's also a few hours after the CPI announcement. And so when I pay attention to astrology is when it lines up with upcoming news events, because it just gives me a bit of a hint of what may happen. Now, there's a lot more to astrology than just the moon. So, and I'm not an expert to be able to explain it. So, we have to turn to experts for that sort of stuff. I highly recommend Crypto Damas. He does have a YouTube channel, does have a Twitter as well. But there are a lot of aspects about this bullish moon phase coming up on the 14th that is also bearish. So we have to kind of be careful. So what may be happening right now is that we may continue to bleed down until that CPI announcement. We may get news that we were expecting anyway, that regardless of what it is, we pump out of, not because it's good news, but because we just got what we expected, So we can't just assume that this is going to be the tragedy that sends Bitcoin to 12K. There's nothing to tell us that right now. And the other thing too is when you start to hear everyone on social media talk about the same thing, usually the opposite happens. So right now, everyone is banking on CPI giving us the final answer, and that this is what we all have to wait for. We were all thinking that with the FOMC meeting as well last week, and nothing happened. So be prepared for that as well, that, we may get a continued dump into CPI and a pump out of. We may get just nothing happen, simply because everyone's talking about it on social media and everybody expects it. And as we know now, that the markets are controlled 70% by bots that are designed to A, hunt liquidity, and B, scan social media for sentiment. So if you're putting your sentiment all over social media, you're basically showing your cards to the market makers. Let me just take a sip of this tea. Okay. People asking to invest money. Yeah. If anyone ever asks you to invest money pretending to be me, it's not me. Annie, you must do 2 shows a day when you are not online. I keep thinking shit. But you know what? That you guys forget the last part of my brand, which is chill. So I don't like to work that hard. But maybe I can get some of my cabin crew doing YouTube videos if I can get them past their stage fright. Maybe that's in our future. Good morning, David. All right, so moral of the story is we need to watch this level here. We are currently still in the dead gap zone, so no point going down any further just yet. We'll talk about some other things first, but this is the next zone to watch at around the 19,750 kind of mark. Let's have a look at high blocks. So just close your eyes for a second while I switch to a white screen. And I'm just going to refresh this so we can see where we're currently at with the liquidation levels. Very thin. This is looking very thin to me across the board. Lots of white areas. Not really many new positions being opened. When everyone's waiting for a news event, this is kind of quite normal, but we do have some shorts here that are, quite spiked out pretty large across here. Our delta currently for the shorts is at 13 billion. So that's moving up. You know what? That kind of lines up with us potentially being in drop level 2 right now, because one more drop is going to increase that closer to the 20 billion mark. And that's usually where we see a turnaround. So that's giving me confluence that we may head further down from here if we break the level that I marked out. And And what have we got to go to? The thing with high block is this is only showing us a visible range. It doesn't mean that there's not more liquidity below 19K. It just means that's all we can see right now. It doesn't look like there's much left to chase. The absolute lowest level, which is probably not worth coming for, is 19K. But the thing is, if we drop down there and people, bottom pickers who open long positions, we may get some huge green circles come, sorry, not green, some huge pink circles come in at that area. And that just opens up the opportunity for the market maker to then send it even further. So for now, we're looking at around the 19.1 as the visible range that we have as a target if we continue down. So I just like to put that on my chart so we can see if that 19.1 lines up with anything. I'll just mark it in here. And yeah, so straight away now we can see that it lines up with this third area of interest. That may be our level 3 drop. So I personally don't like to trade in level 3 because I know that level 3 is the trap. Also right now in the dead gap zone, this is massive manipulation. For you, if you're not like me and you're happy to trade the third drops or the third rises, you want to wait for a retracement. So if we come into this zone here, we'll have a look at trading light. But if we come into this zone, have a bit of a bounce, and then get, a lower high up here that stays under these EMAs, the 200 and the 50, that could be an area to short potentially for level 3, maybe down into the 19.1 kind of area. But yeah, for me, I'd rather sit out of level 3. Let's mark out the trading light zones and see what's going on here. Actually, at this point in time, when Bitcoin starts to head down this dramatically, that's when I like to have a look at the spot charts, because I want to know, are investors stepping in to buy for the long term? Like, do they consider Bitcoin cheap? These are people who don't, they're not speculating on price. They actually want to buy and hold it. So looking at the spot area, we've got 659 at 16,000, and we've got what's happening down here, 1.1 at 15,000. That's pretty dramatic. That does not mean we're going down there. I don't want to cause FOMO and have people think, but this is, I guess, where investors are quite hopeful that we will come down to. Anyway, something to keep in mind. The other thing too is on this, my whale that I was watching that was buying 2K here, this whole period was picking the tops and bottoms perfectly. He's gone, or she, it's probably a she, is gone. So that's, I don't know, maybe their orders got picked up in this week here was the last time they actually hit price. Maybe they're gone, but I do want to see if they come back. They tend to come back at the most opportune moments. So we'll keep an eye on him. But having a look at the futures now to see where are people currently trying to long and short. Now, Asia session has just opened. So these are likely to move around a bit because, as you guys know by now, that these orders are usually here to just set the high and the low of the day, but it really does depend if Asia wants to run a trend, because what we can see right now is that the dead gap zone has run a trend. Like, it's just run an absolute dive down, but this is the most highly manipulative zone. So once Asia fully opens, it could be that price settles, and it may settle around this zone. So let's mark out where that may happen. I'm kind of looking around these 2.1K orders they're at 19.5. Let's go here from 19.4 to about 19.6 as one area, and then where are they keeping price under is about 20.1 to say, let's just say 20.2. So let me just quickly mark this out. Sorry, it does take me a little bit longer now that I'm doing these live Just give me 2 seconds. So we've got 19,400. Okay, so that's falling in between these two areas of interest. Now, price doesn't always come right into the zone. As you can see, those areas that are marked are just where the highest orders are. But we do have high orders right here as well, meaning if they stayed there, price has to pick those up first before it has a chance of coming down lower. Excuse me. So this zone does seem to be the right zone at this point in time to watch out for today. Let's just quickly mark in the sell zone. How's everyone feeling, by the way, whilst I write all this in? Are we good? Are we on track, not letting the market maker take our money? Knowing when to sit out is also a trade. Nice retail trend line. 2 seconds. What's in 2 seconds? Ryan and Alicia combined YouTube show. I agree. Let's bully them into doing it. Misread this week. Yeah, look, Theo, it's normal to misread this week. We'll go down to the 15, have a look, because I was also looking for a W bounce yesterday. I'm going to explain what happened in the price action. And I was short from up here, but when I thought we got the W around here somewhere, I did close out my short. So now I'm just sitting out and waiting. Mind you, I do have a short still from 32K, so that one is still open, but the rest, my weekly trades are not open right now. So this is the this is the area we're dealing with. Let's go down to the 15-minute to see what's going on there. All right, so Asia has just opened. We need to give it a bit more time. So let's talk about this yesterday, because we talked about the 33 trade 200 EMA. That was this level here. So there were multiple times that it touched that level, giving you a chance to take profit if you shorted the 33 trade retracement, right? That's done and dusted. Now we start again. The thing that was happening yesterday is, I personally believe that there was a chance of trying to move price higher, but we have to understand that market makers also have limitations, right? One of their limitations is they have to get us to fall for it, right? As retail traders, whatever the move they're trying to make, they have to get us to fall for it. So this push up here was attempt number one to get us to go long, and we didn't fall for it. So they had to bring price lower. After all of this, there was a number of times, let me just try and mark them out. They're hard to see once it's actually passed. So this number one here was a W formation here, right? So, and then that was attempt number one to trap us. Didn't work, so they had to come down lower. Then we got another, they usually do this in threes, by the way, what I'm explaining to you. This W gave us a lower low. It's still a W. Didn't work. People didn't commit enough, so they had to then mark price lower. Now, what happened here, hang on, there was one more in between. I think it was this one here. Yeah, it was this one here. So the reason that I'm marking these out is because of the red candles. So this W started with this one started with this one, and this one started with this one, right? So that's what tells me these are the 3 times that market makers were trying to get us to commit to a position, and not enough of us were committing. So they had to play nastier games. But then once we got into this area here, this was the one, hang on, this one here. This final one here, sorry, there's one more. This W here also turned into this W here. So this was the final one that worked. And at the time, what happened was this candle here was massive and green when it opened, and it hit the target of the 800 EMA on the 15-minute time frame, right? So it hit target number one. But what happened here was it came smacking right back down, and that was because of the S&P and the Nasdaq. So if I go down to the, we'll do it on the 15-minute on them. So that was this right here, this candle here and this one here. And at the same time, Dixie broke its high of the week, which is huge. Why is that gone there? So Dixie's high of the week was here and it broke that. So Dixie went up, these two dropped massively, and that caused Bitcoin's trap move, well, to work basically, because it got people to commit long and then came up, didn't repeat the exact level, and from there we died down. Now what that did in turn was create an M formation. So at this point in time here, we now have the M formation. And this is the new setup from the break of the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. I hope this is making sense. I know this is complicated because I've never actually talked about this before, but the key point that I'm trying to make is that if market makers drop a level and don't get us to make a dumb decision, they're going to keep dropping levels until we eventually make the dumb decision. And it didn't happen till over here. Now they got people to commit because this was a very, very strong move moving up. And then they sent the market where they actually wanted to send the market, which was down. And that's where we are right now. So therefore, we have on the higher time frame another drop to come, in my opinion. So I would be waiting for a retrace. We may get up into this sell order zone, somewhere around 20,100. We may just continue to straight bleed and not get it. But I wouldn't be trying to short the level 3 without a retracement. Like if you missed it, you missed it. We let it go. We only want high probability trades. Let this bleed out and see what happens in this buy zones or both of these levels down here. That's where we may get a bounce, and it may not be till midweek. So it may be that there are no trades for the next day or two. That's it. That's how the game goes. So hope that makes sense. The key to watch though, or actually it may have changed now. Let's have a look. The key EMA to watch is actually for the S&P and also the Nasdaq, and that's this yellow one, which is on the 1 hour time frame, 200 EMA. We did manage, even in this big drop, to hold it now 3 times, and same for the Nas. So I mean, it's not looking hopeful. The current candle is looking pretty dramatic, but if we can hold that and bounce, then maybe even just move sideways for the next day or two, then we may see some upside. But if we break below those, it's probably going to get a lot more dramatic. Now, was there anything else I wanted to show you? Lots of news events this week. So what do we have? 3 a.m. Melbourne time. That's tonight. Governor Bailey speaking again. Then we have 10:30 CPI. That's the one that everyone's waiting for. And then Thursday and Friday, there's a lot more. We'll get into those on tomorrow's video. Won't worry about them too much today. Now, let me quickly have a look at ETH, because ETH gives us better levels, to be honest. So we'll zoom out on ETH quickly as well, because that had a 4-hour W2. The 4-hour W is still currently valid, and we broke the first zone to watch for a bounce. The second zone is still intact and actually looking quite good, because as we're moving down, we're running out of steam. That's what I like to see as we hit a zone. So maybe sometime today we'll get either a board meeting or a bit of a retracement, and then we'll get the level 3 drop into that area of interest. If we get that over the next day or two, that will be great. But if we don't bounce there, then it's just not looking good. 1 hour time frame. Let's see if it tells us anything different. So again, this area of interest is marked from these candles here, and this, it's hard to see, I know, because it's dark, but this candle right here is a wick into that zone. That wick there has closed out this one here. So now we're looking at these two candles right here. They, being blue, aren't as high volume, so we may break right through it, but that's the one to watch for now. And again, yeah, see if we get a retracement to reject any of these EMAs. It may, considering we're on quite a nasty slope, we may only hit the 20 EMA. We may not even get to the 50. You can see here on the price action throughout this whole drop, the 20 EMA has been the one. So let this settle for Asia. See if we get a retracement or a board meeting and the 20 EMA meets up with the price, or the price meets up with the 20. There could be a short into this zone, but just be aware that you're shorting level 3, not ideal. Probably better off letting this play out, come back in a day or two to, trade the retrace. The other interesting thing that I just noticed actually is that this area of interest is very, very close to last week's low of the week. So if we bounce around that area, the low of the week is at 1,045-ish. That's going to be good for some upside potential. But again, could be a couple of days away. Definitely need to just wait and see at this point in time. All right, that's all I have to say. Does anyone have any questions while I'm here? Annie, you've helped me improve on my patience immensely. Good to hear. Good to hear. I closed my short at end of dead gap. Nice one. Saw the hidden bearish divergence on the RSI at 2 p.m. New York and caught the level 2 drop. Well done, Dev. That's awesome. It's night in Sweden. Okay, I think cool. No questions. Okay, so what else do I have to tell you then before I let you go? Nothing other than, if you are not aware, OKX is doing 2,000 up to 2,000 bonus for new accounts if you're looking for somewhere to leverage trade. That is my preferred account to trade on. Number 2 is the Discord. Don't forget about the Discord if you are wanting to learn this method in full. You want to be joining towards the start of a month to get the best value, so don't leave it too much longer. And I've got some questions here. I'm a beginner. If I join first class, will I be able to learn trading? So I know as long as you know the basics, you'll be okay. So you have to know how to place trades already. You have to know, how to use leverage. You have to know the basics of trading, like what trend lines are and all that kind of stuff, because we don't teach that stuff. But if you know all of that, then you'll be fine in first class. If not, jump into the free section of the Discord anyway, because we do have a beginner's course, not done by us, but it is one that we highly recommend. And we can direct you in the Discord to that. It's only a 14-day one, so you can do that for the rest of this month and then come and join us once August ticks over. Doesn't anyone see a big bounce incoming? This is manipulation. Is great to liquidate and shake out over leveraged longs. Well, right now it's the over leveraged people are short. So yes, I do see a big bounce coming at some point. I just don't think it's going to be in the next 2 days. The delta's not there to allow that. Everyone is so bearish. Exactly. That's why I'm thinking everyone is so bearish leading post CPI, and that's why they're loading up shorts now. That's why I think the bounce may come after it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Have the most amazing day. We'll come back tomorrow and reassess the situation. Be careful out there. I do think we're in drop 3, not the best time to trade. But, at some point we will get a bounce or a reset. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. See you guys soon.